make a bit of a mess, so just mixed up some paint stripper. I'm just going to take the engine bay, try and do one side at a time. We're going to start on this side, so paint strip as much as I can. I'll finish the rest of it off by hand with a bit of sandpaper or an orbital sander, and then also going to attack that bit of rust down here. I'll cut that out and replace that, weld something new in before applying some new paint. Hopefully send off some bolts this week for zinc plating. Let's get into it. Alrighty, started to make a bit of a dent on the passenger side. As you can see, some of the rust starting to come through the steel, so that'll get acid treated. Probably give it a quick orbital sand back, and we'll give the majority of these inner guards in the engine bay a rush treatment with dioxide, and then we can work towards getting this thing in primer hopefully this week. So a few hours each night, we'll keep chipping away. I've got the passenger side. I'm gonna do the firewall majority as I can. Don't want to remove too much sealer from factory that is put there. But just keep chipping away at it, and we'll get this thing hopefully in primer, like I said, by the end of the week. Out here and at it on this Friday night, working on the Premier again. So just finished off. Mainly the aim of tonight is to really get this engine bay back to bare metal, acid washed, rust repairs done, and get it close to being ready for primer, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. But it's getting pretty close. So I just finished doing this rust section at the front half of the wireframe. Still got that piece behind the headlight as well, but I'll spin the camera around and we can talk about that. So just got this piece all tacked in at the front there. As you can see from the previous footage, that there was a hole. So just filled that in. It's just tacked for now. I've got to finish off welding that. And then once it's welded from the front, I will go ahead, trace a piece for down here with a template and finish off the back half after the front half is welded. And then I can clean that up and get some paint on that and primer, seal that up, and then that rust repair is done, and then we can focus on the rest of this front end and getting it ready for primer. Alrighty, first of the weld sections at the front here is done. So I've finished off the one of two rust repairs that I need to do. So I've done the front first so that I had something to clean up, and then I could weld the back. So I had something to weld to on the back. So I've just finished tacking in that back piece. It's all tacked into place. Just took a template out of some A4 bit of paper, traced it, cut it out of some 1 mil sheet of steel, and I've just got that tacked into place now. I'm going to weld that out, and then we can clean it all up and get into giving this engine bay a bit of a rust treatment with the dioxide. I'll spin the camera out and we can check it out. So that front section's now all done, cleaned up really good. You wouldn't even notice once that's got paint on it where the rust section was. Come out quite nice. Just finished doing the back piece now. So as you can see, I didn't have to weld this piece in here from behind at all. It penetrated nice, and then I just come through with the linisher, cleaned it up, and now I've got that other piece just tacked in there, folded up the end so it follows the shape of the inner guard, and then that is ready to weld. So I might run a bead along here and then smooth that out after, just so it's nice and smooth, and then I might leave a hole in here as well, just so water can drain out afterwards, as obviously that is a problem here, filling up with water. It can't get out once it's stuck in the corner here. Alrighty, finished off headlight rust repair section. So just finished off, welded that down inside there. I'm going to leave that the way it is, and before I paint it, I'm just going to wipe a bit of seam seal along here, neaten it up. I'm going to leave that hole there, like I said, as a drain hole. I'll drill one on the other side as well, just to let that water out, especially when there's a battery on this side as well. So let the stuff drain out that needs to, and now I can continue on and get this engine bay. I'm going to finish off 120 grit. I orbital sanded this side, so I'm going to do as much as I can to this side, and then mix up some dioxide and clean this metal up. Let's do it. Inner guards all acid washed, just got the firewall left to go now, so treated most of the rust. Just going to Scotch Brite that back as it's still in pretty good condition, and then give it a paint. Alrighty, got this prem all prepped up, ready for some primer. So finished off all the metal treatment, just gone around and used some rust treatment in areas around the front of the headlights where it's really tight and the water will seep. So I needed a bit of that, especially around near the battery tray, which was hard to get into with a wire wheel and a scraper, but it's come out pretty good. Just finished masking it all off. So I'm gonna go ahead now, lay down some 2-pack primer and get this thing ready to apply some paint later in the week. Alrighty, so it got pretty keen today, and after laying on the primer, I ended up getting some black down on this engine bay. Mixed up the last amount of satin black that I had, put a dash of white in it to try and get that blue tinge. It's come out really good. Today's lesson, I guess, would be that not everything turns out perfect though, and I definitely do make mistakes. So engine bay is partially done, but towards the end started to run out of paint and I've got none left. So got a couple of runs, and we've got also a bit of seep through in the paint from when I did the primer, and it was probably put on a little bit too wet with the black as well early on in the process before it had really cured. So I'll spin the camera around, run you through how it went and show you all how it is looking. So like I said, majority of the job though is pretty good. It's come out very good. Up the top here, as you can see, there's a bit of bleed through from the primer and what is under the black. So probably put it on a little bit too wet and it started to react there. Nothing too major, so I'm just gonna let that sit. That's nearly dried off now, and I'll get back to that. I'll have to rub that out now and attack it again. In it guards though, and the engine bay has turned out exactly how I wanted. As you can see, just a little bit in here, still to go, where you can see primer still and the very last piece along the center of the front of the wireframe there. But all in all, it is pretty good. I've got a couple of runs up the back. I'll need to try and get those out. And I think you can see just slightly over here, there was a run which is behind the washer bottle anyway, but I'll probably put another few coats over the engine bay, seal it all off once I mix up a whole lot of more paint. But I'll attack that when I get to that, probably tomorrow or even later on in the week. We're going to end the video there so you guys can get the idea of where I'm up to on this, and hopefully by the end of the week should have the zinc plating back for all the bolts and all the accelerator linkages and stuff like that for the engine bay, and we can start putting this thing back together soon. All right guys, I'm going to cap the video off there. I guess I'll end on a note and just say that I guess, you know, everyone does make mistakes, and at the end of the day, this is why I am doing this, is because I couldn't afford obviously to pay someone. So you just got to get out there and have a go. If you stuff it up, it doesn't matter, rub it back, give it another go. It'll eventually get there. If it's not, you know, to someone's standards, don't worry about it. Just do it to the best of your own ability, and it definitely beats paying someone. So thanks for all you guys for tuning in. Heaps of new subscribers, heaps of new viewers. The videos are starting to take off very well. So I appreciate that very much, and I'll see you all on the next one. Cheers.